Hello everybody, welcome back to the Formulalympics. It is time for the fourth round of the 1952 Formulalympic season. This time we are at Paul Ricard for the French Formulalympic race. And the question is, who will get the gold medal of this race? Will it be Jean-Pierre or Robert Manson, as this is their home turf? Well, let's get out there and find out to see what will happen. So here we are for the qualifying session around Paul Ricard. Now, who is going to get pole position in this race? Who will be the first one to go out to set the benchmark? Well, 12 minutes to find out who that is going to be. We are on board with Mike Hawthorne, who's going to be the first person to go out to set the benchmark for this race. Okay, so that's everyone finally coming out onto the track. Hopefully Hawthorne isn't going to be too impeded. In fact, no, it's not too bad, but he does have traffic headwinds that might put him off. 2:11 with his outlap time. Oh, contact there between him and Dries van der Loof. Of course, van der Loof and Ernst Klodwig are still yet to qualify for a race, to compete in a race, because with 3 races in, and 3 times they DNQ'd. And through the line goes Mike Hawthorne with a time of 1 minute 33.7. That's a pretty decent time from the Brit. Now we wait for everyone else. We've got a couple of drivers coming in the last corner to set their times. And let's see, Robert Manson 132.1 in his home race is currently in the lead. Fritz Ries 134.8. There's Giuseppe Farina 132.8. 7 tenths slower than Robert Manson. So this will be, hopefully Manson is going to have a good time. In fact, we've got both French drivers at the front at the moment. This Rui Fischer currently sitting in third. So pretty good times from the 2 drivers in their home race. We've got Klodwig 147.8. That's 10.1 seconds slower than the Western driver of Tony Ullman. Okay, we've now got Alberto Ascari in second, half a tenth slower than Robert Manson. So we've got both French drivers in the top 3. Not a good time there. There's van der Loof 145.8, so 15 seconds separating first and 21st. I'm almost certain that is outside the 110% rule for both Loof and Glodwig. Again, a big comeback from the disaster that was Zandvoort is in order, I'd say, for Robert Manson, and right now he's doing an amazing job. That'll be Pierre Hart that just came out just in front of Manson. Hart is currently 16th. Okay, Ken Wharton up into second, half a tenth behind, 1/1000th of a second faster than Alberto Ascari. So that's quite an achievement there from Ken Wharton. Ruttman, oh, it's 3 wide going down the main straight. Hopefully the 3 of them will get through safely. And no, we've got contact, and there goes Ruttman, is spun off. That was contact between Ruttman and I believe that is Paul Freire. Yeah, Paul Freire. Yeah, that was always going to happen. Mike also improving his time. He goes into 10th. So Ruttman's session has come to an end. He's going to have to settle for 7th as with 10 seconds left on the clock. Well, no point going back out again. Ullman improves his time. Loff improves his time. Ullman goes into 17th. Loff stays in 20th. And probably still outside the 110% time, but the time has run out. Klodwig gives him back his time, goes to the pits, and that is the end of the session. So 3 points for Manson, 2 for Wharton, and 1 for Alberto Ascari. Of course, both French drivers in the top 4, both Italians in the top 5. So without further ado, let's go on to the grid and find out for certain if Van der Loof or Klodwig have or have not qualified. So it is on to the grid for the French Formulalympic race, with Robert Manson taking his first pole position this season, with Ken Wharton on the front row, and Alberto Ascari getting the final bonus point in third, just ahead of the other French driver Chambert in their home turf. Then it is the championship leader of Giuseppe Farina in 5th place, with Rui Fischer on the 3rd row. Then it's the 2 American drivers hoping to redeem themselves on the 4th row of the grid. And round your top 10, Johnny Clayton from Belgium, and the other British driver of Mike Hawthorne from the UK. And there's Ciccolandi 11th, next to Paul Freire in row 6. Row 7 following Fritz Ries from West Germany and Gino Bianco from Brazil. And then row 8 with Jan Vlinsman from the Netherlands and Peter Hart, a very disappointing 16th, while his teammate is right at the front of the grid. Then it is Tony Allman ahead of the East German Rudolf Kraus. And the final driver to qualify is Alberto Crespo from Argentina, with Dries van der Loof and Ernst Klotwig from East Germany once again failing to qualify. So we only have 19 drivers on the grid because, of course, Giuseppe Farina has been injured in the previous race and will not be for this race and the following race as well. And of course, Argentina with no reserve driver, which is why we don't have a 20-car grid. Instead, we only have 19. But with that out of the way, it's time for the race around France. So here we are for the race around Paul Ricard for the French Formula-Olympic race. Of course, we got Robert Manson in his home turf on pole position, with Ken Wharton in the front row, and the championship leader, that is Giuseppe Farina, starting down in 5th position. So how will this race go? Well, we'll find out. Let's get into the race. So, we should do it off. Focus on Manson. And we are underway for the French race, and it's a good start for Robert Manson, and looks like it's also a good start for Ken Wharton, also holding on to 2nd position as we're now coming down to the first corner. Will everyone get around safely? Looks like everyone will. So Manson leads. Oh, someone went a little bit wide, but at the end of the day, it looks like everybody is safely through. Further back, we've got Giuseppe Farina trying to make the move on homeboy Jean Berra for 4th position, and it looks like Jean Berra is going to hold on to the position, but for now, it looks like Farina has got the slipstream to make his way up the field. Onto the outside of Jean Berra. Yep, and he does have the speed. He does make the pass on the Frenchman into 4th position. But looking up towards the front is Alberto Ascari chasing down. Oh, big slide there from Alberto Ascari, being a little bit aggressive. As we see Giuseppe Farina falling back down to 5th, and Jean Berra defending from the championship leader quite nicely. Thankfully. So we got Italy leading the nations table with a 25-point lead over the United States, because of course both USA drivers didn't finish the race. Jean Berra on his home turf currently sitting the fastest lap at 1:34.838, and Berra is sitting in 4th, chasing down the other Italian of Alberto Ascari, 12 points behind 2nd place in the championship with 33 points. So yeah, so Italy are first, and both Italian drivers are 1st and 3rd in the drivers' championship. Stevenson sandwiching both Italians, but Italy are considerably ahead, are 25 points ahead in the nations table, who are further 13 points ahead of 3rd place, which is currently held by the United Kingdom. And of course, the top UK driver in the championship standings is Wharton, and he is 4th. With 30 points, 3 points shorter than Alberto Ascari at the moment. But as it stands right now, Ken Wharton probably would end up tying with points on Ascari, but Ascari's got a win under his belt from back in Silverstone, so he would still maintain 3rd. Looking back down, there is Chuck Stevenson battling for the championship lead so far, well, currently 2nd place in the championship standing. Down 7th, still chasing down Rudy Fischer for 6th. Rudy Fischer, where is he? He is 10th, 13th in Silverstone, 4th from. In fact, Ken Wharton has been passed by Ascari. Missed that. So Alberto Ascari is now into 2nd place, chasing down Robert Manson. Ooh. Squeaky brakes there from the Brits. So, pass Alberto Manson, a fast lap from Ascari, 1:34.3, 6 faster than the race leader. So Ascari has got the pace. Well, how long will it be till he catches up to Manson, and how long will it be till he makes a pass on Robert Manson? Look at the front. I think someone's trying to make a pass. Rudy Fischer, Stevenson trying to make the pass on Rudy Fischer. And it looks like Stevenson is going to make his way into 6th position. Meanwhile, his teammate, Troy Ruttman, is going to be passed by Mike Hawthorne for 8th. So, good job for Stevenson, not so much for Ruttman. That's a switch in fortune between the two American drivers to take the race lead of the pole sitter, and Alberto Ascari does take the race lead, and Giuseppe Farina also getting the pass on Jean Berra for 4th place, and Mike Hawthorne making the move on Rudy Fischer, making his way into 7th. So we got a few overtakes coming down the long straight. I knew the best look, it's gonna be a lot of overtaking down the long straight. So Ascari leads, Mansell 2nd, Wharton 3rd, Farina 4th, Jean Berra 5th, Chuck Stevenson 6th, Mike Hawthorne 7th, Rudy Fischer 8th, Troy Ruttman 9th, and Chico Landy rounding off your top 10 at the moment. Ken Wharton setting a personal best, nearly over a second faster than Robert Manson. But here comes Giuseppe Farina though to try and get in the action to catching Ken Wharton, who's currently sitting in 3rd place at the moment. Actually, 7 laps in, who's made the biggest gain and who's made the biggest losses at the moment? So the biggest gainer so far is actually Tony Allman down in 13th position. So he qualified 17th and he's made 4 positions. Then the next biggest gainer is Mike Hawthorne, who started 10th and he's made his way into 7th. And then the 3rd biggest gainer is Alberto Ascari, qualified 3rd and is currently leading the race. Now the biggest loser so far is Gino Bianco, so he was 14th, he's dropped to 17th. And then Johnny Clay's qualified 9th down to 11th, and Ray Fisher qualified 6th down to 8th. So a couple of people made big gains, and some people have had a big loss at the moment. There goes his Chuck Stevenson and Hawthorne. Are either of them going to try to make the move? No, they will not make the move. In fact, no, Mike Hawthorne is going to the inside of Stevenson. And looks like Hawthorne may have actually pulled the move off. Yes, he has. Oh, not quite actually. Stevenson is fighting back. Okay, so Hawthorne doesn't manage to make the move stick. So he's got to hang on behind the American for another go. Thankfully, it turns out to not be the case, and Chuck Stevenson is now got a battle of his own. He looks like he's going to lose the position to Mike Hawthorne, but he is still pushing hard to stop the Brits from getting into 6th, and it looks like he may have successfully prevented it from happening. But there is Hawthorne still right behind him, like a bad rash. He just will not go away. And there's Ascari going a bit wide. In fact, once again, Chuck Stevenson is losing, looks like it's going to lose the position all on, and it looks like Hawthorne has made the move actually stick. Pull away if he can. Alberto Ascari setting the fastest lap, 134.0, 6 tenths faster than Robert Manson in the last lap, who in turn was 1.3 seconds faster than Wharton in that last lap as well. Well, there's Chuck Stevenson making his way past, Ray Fisher making his way past as well, and look at this, Fisher is indeed closing in on Chuck Stevenson. Although, is he going to make the move? And further back, unless Jean Berra is in trouble, he's been passed by Hawthorne. And yes, Ray Fisher appears to have made the move on the American. Stevenson trying to do the switch around, but no, Stevenson has not been able to do that. And now Stevenson and Berra have dropped a position each. So we've got Fisher to 7th, and Hawthorne is now in the top 5. Going to the inside. And yes, Giuseppe Farina seems to have made the path into 3rd place. So we've got both Italian drivers back in the top 3. So Ascari 1st, Manson 2nd from France, Farina 3rd, Wharton 4th, Hawthorne 5th, Jean Berra 6th, Rudy Fischer 7th, Chuck Stevenson 8th, Troy Ruttman 9th, and Johnny Claes rounds off your top 10. On the Frenchmen, meanwhile, but then again, they've got both West German and one East German car to deal with. So they've got to lap Kraus the 2nd time, and then lap both West German drivers of Fritz Rees and Tony Alban. So this is going to make things really, really awkward for the 3rd and 4th place driver. And there goes Farina down the main straight. Oh, it's going to be 3 wide as well. The 2 West German and East German drivers battling each other, and Wharton's managed to slip his way into the top 3. Oh man, this is going to be chaotic, that's for sure. Who's going to get ahead of who down the turn? Well, everyone is through safely. In fact, Ritz 3 skiing past Tony Allman amidst all this as well. So we got Wharton managed to get into the top, get back to third, and we've got Tony Allman managed to, got passed by Fritz Reese amongst all this chaos. In fact, Wharton's managed to nearly get his way through. Giuseppe Farina. In fact, oh, speaking of all this chaos, there's a Barra Scar, the race leader, coming into the pits. I mean, Farina and Hawthorne still in a intense battle here. And Mazel's coming to the pits as well. And is Sky about to leave the pits? Yes, it looks like he's about to leave the pits. It looks like the pit stops are not going to screw him over this time round. So that is good news for Sky there. The pit stop actually went in his favour for once. Okay, Manson coming out in seconds. Yep, there he goes. Ken Wharton coming out in third. What about Giuseppe Farina? Farina is losing his lost positions. He looks like he's not going to come out in fourth. He's going to drop down to sixth. It looks like. In fact, got some of the cars going through each other. This is a disaster waiting to happen. Okay, okay. I wasn't sure how I was going to work. So it's Sky first, Mansell second, Wharton third. Chuck Stevenson's capitalised on. He's somehow gone to fourth. Fisher's into fifth. So Farina's down to sixth. Barris dropped to seventh. Troy Ruttman is up to eighth. Mike Hawthorne's dropped back to ninth. So clearly there's been a problem with his pit stop. That's sent him down the pack. Here's Johnny Clayson coming out, staying in the top 10. 11th and 12th coming to the pits. That's Landy and Frere, but it looks like their pit stops are going to be just fine. Okay, let's see the progress. Who's made the biggest gain and biggest loss thanks to all this? So Chuck Stevenson and Tony Allman tied for the best with 3 positional gains. Stevenson's qualified 7th start is now in 4th, and Tony Allman started 17th is in 14th. Then the next biggest gain is still a Scar with 2. Qualified 3rd, and he's now currently lead. And of course the biggest losses, Sean Berra from 4th down to 7th, and Tony Bianca 14th to 17th. So not as big as change as I thought, but still relatively interesting changes. So who is a Sky chasing now? He is chasing Paul Frere. Ken Wharton's in the fastest time, 133.9. Oh, this is out of nowhere. That came out of absolutely nowhere. Wharton said the fastest lap. Chuck Stevenson now saying the fastest lap. And then Sean Berra and Farina in a tense battle. So, okay. So Stevenson in 4th place says is currently the fastest man on the track. So that is interesting. And this Ken Wharton, who's in 3rd. UK are also looking for their first podium of the season as well. I mean, they've got 5th, 6th, and 4th in the medals table. Alberto Ascari gets the fastest lap, 132.9. Oh wow, he comes out ahead of Flintsman and Bianco, who's just come out the pits as well. That's amazing. That's really good timing for Ascari there. This personal best of Mansell, 133.7. That's still very good. He is 10 seconds ahead of Ken Wharton, so Mansell is in a pretty comfortable position for silver. I've got some of the back marks going in the pits. It's Stevenson 4th. And it's Fisher and Farina battling for 5th. And this Sean Berra getting better the action as well. But it looks like Farina is going to get into 5th. But Fisher into 6th. But Berra's not going to be able to do anything at the moment. And Alberto Ascari saying the fast lap, 132.8. Probably the only fast lap in 132. So Ascari absolutely flying up the field. Besides, before that, in fact, Barra Sky goes to set the fast lap at 132.6. What I was going to say was he's got Crespo and Kraus in between Johnny Clays anyway, so I don't think Sky is going to be able to lap Johnny Clays at all this race. And there's Troy Ruttman about to join him at the back of the queue as we're seeing the back markers being lapped by this four-way fight for 6. But it looks like Berra is not going to be close enough to try and do anything about Ray Fisher. As Chuck Stevenson has been passed by Giuseppe Farina for 4th. So we got both Italians in the top 4, but I don't think it's good. But I highly doubt it's going to be double medals for Italy this time round. I mean, we've only got 3 laps left to go this race, a 9-second gap to close in on Ken Wharton, yeah, it's pretty much unlikely. So far, the only man on 3 laps down, as Giuseppe Farina is now set the fastest lap, 132.6. And here comes Alberto Scar with 2 laps left to go. Is chasing down, I believe that is Rudolf Kraus he's chasing, as Jean Berra has been passed by Mike Hawthorne. So Mike Hawthorne managed to push as deep as he can, is now got himself into 7th. Here we go, just the last couple of corners, and Alberto Ascari is going to be the first driver to have 2 gold medals this season. In fact, Alberto Ascari has not got a silver or a bronze yet to date. But here we go, round the last corner, and Alberto Ascari wins the gold medal here in France. What a win for Alberto Ascari, 3rd on the grid up until and made his way to gold. 1:32.5, the fastest lap at the final lap of the race, so he was just showing off there. Robert Manson finishing 2nd, and Robert Manson gets the fastest lap of Ascari. Well, Manson absolutely pushed, and he got the fastest lap off the race winner. What a way to do in style in your home race, Robert Manson. So, gold for Ascari, silver for Manson, bronze for Wharton, and we'll just have to wait for everyone else to finish this race. So here are the official results. Alberto Ascari, 8.8 second win over Robert Manson. Robert Manson, 14 seconds ahead of Ken Wharton. So Giuseppe Farina misses out on a medal, but he managed to make a great recovery to 4th after his disastrous pit stop. Both American drivers in the top 10. Rudy Fisher once again carrying Switzerland's charge in 6th. Then Hawthorne recovered to 7th. Johnny Clay is getting a point for himself and for Team Belgium. Looking down, Lando was the first driver to finish. That was a lap down, ahead of Paul Freyer. Then Fritz Rees, Hart and Ullman. Then Flinto and Bianco were lapped twice. Kraus and Crespo at the back, who were lapped 3 times. But more importantly, everybody finished this race. So with that out of the way, it's time to check the points table and the medals table. No, the drivers' table, sorry, and the nations table. And here are the driver standings after completing 4 of 16 rounds, with Giuseppe Farina does hold on to the lead of the championship, but his lead with Alberto Ascari is now 16 points, with Chuck Stevenson slipping down to 3rd position after his 5th place finish. That makes him 3 points behind his rival Ascari. Ken Wharton making his way up to 4th place with 45 points, with Robert Manson getting his first podium of the season, making his way into the top 5 with 29 points, which is 6 more than the next American driver, which is Troy Ruttman, ahead of Mike Hawthorne 7th, and Johnny Clay's running off your top 8, getting his sole point after getting his podium finish in the round before at the Netherlands. Looking at the nations table, we see Italy are running away with this competition with a 40-point lead over 2nd place, which is held by the United States. The United Kingdom are down in 3rd position with their 3rd place finish with 45 points, ahead of France, sitting in 4th with 34 points, and then all the way down to 5th place is Switzerland, sitting at 20 points, with Belgium the last team to score at least a point in 6th place, just 1 point behind the Swiss team. So what could come from this race? Well, it might not have been the most exciting in the world, but we did see some overtakes, we did see some intense battles up and down the field. We can definitely say that Alberto Ascari getting his 2nd win of the season is definitely going to be showing him as a real threat to winning the 952 championship. Can Giuseppe Farina hold on to the lead in the next race of Ascari and Stevenson? Well, we'll find out in the next round. Of course, in the championship standings, with Giuseppe Farina out front, with only 16 points ahead of his teammate, it's definitely going to be intense between them. In the nations table, well, Italy are proving that they are running away with the competition. They've been on the podium in every race, with 3 of them being wins, 2 from Ascari, 1 from Farina. Will any other team be able to catch up to them in the next round? Well, we'll find out then, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So thank you for watching this weekend, and hopefully next week will be just as exciting.